Are you ready?
Starting now?
Well, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
But
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
La, 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 la.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now. All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And hey, you know what? It's Pride Month. And I bring that up for two reasons. First of all, you know why? Because it's Pride Month.
Right.
But I also have a story about it, which I can tell you, well, in a second, because I want to tell you one more thing. But so I've got a story about it. But yeah, it's Pride Month, and that's what the story is kind of about. But one other thing, real quick, and actually before we got on, I started to tell Mike something. I'm like, I'm going to wait till we're recording.
Mm-hmm.
So we're using, wait a second. This episode is brought to you again by Zencastr. Zencastr, so cool, we don't need the E. But I get this email today that's like, oh, the new Zencastr's here. And I'm like, So I log into it, and the dashboard now, I looked at it, I'm like, holy fuck, this kind of looks Riverside-ish, not the recording screen that we're on.
Mm-hmm.
But I looked at the dashboard, you know, like the dashboard that I come in where the episode is.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, oh, fuck me. This is seriously, it's like a, I don't know, like the grandson of Riverside. I'm like, oh, fuck. They better, I mean, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're multiple recordings and local record, all this shit, the good stuff that they have, like Riverside. Fine, that's cool.
Right.
But man, don't start fucking with shit. But here's the thing. I'm going to throw a positive on here, is that this particular software has these three different things. You can do, like, I don't know, there's three different levels to it. We go on just the audio only, and it doesn't give you even any opportunity to turn a video on or anything like that.
Right.
If you notice, when you come in, you can't see shit. There's no options for you to do anything.
Right.
And when I look at the settings, it actually says like monitor is off. It's disabled. So
cool.
I'm hoping that they have their shit together with that, where I don't know. Just when I saw it, I'm like, oh God, please don't. Please.
Mm-hmm.
Copy the good. Don't get it. In Riverside, same thing. I got a new email from Riverside today. Oh, we got all these new enhancements, more stuff. And I'm like,
great.
Fuck you.
Right. We don't want your shit.
No, we don't need all this fucking garbage. Simplistic. And you know what? Last week's episode, that's the other thing I told Mike right away. When we're recording right now, his voice sounds a little bit softer, but it evened up. Everything was cool on the recording. And seriously, everything was perfect. I was able to, it downloaded. I actually had plans last Thursday when we recorded.
Right.
So I started downloading. It was taking a long time. I'm like, fuck it, I'll come back later and do it. I figured I'd do it on Friday. And got it down. And like within, I don't know, a half hour, I get this notification in my email. It's like, oh yeah, your episode's all produced. I'm like, really? So it still did it in the background. I didn't have to sit there and fucking wait for it. So it was
nice. Yeah. All right, then. Right. So apparently this shit's working.
You know what? As of last episode, and now 3 minutes and 15 seconds in, yeah, it's working.
Cool. Good. It's about time something works.
I know, and yeah, the other thing too, and we can talk about it again. It's this weekend's Founders Day weekend. Not that
It
it matters,
is.
but we're recording on a Thursday.
We
I think
are.
I'm just gonna, and people will hear it anyhow. I think I'm just gonna release this tomorrow, so it's going to be a day early. Everyone
Ah.
gets a Friday treat for us because I don't have to fuck with it on Saturday morning.
Right.
Not that it's a big deal, but I figure fuck, it give us an extra day. It doesn't really fucking matter. But we can talk about Founders Day. Do you want to hear? The Pride story real quick, and it's an Instagram thing, and then we can get into your reading. So I think
Sure.
we might need some good thoughts after this fucking shit.
Okay.
So I don't know if you noticed, but I posted the same Pride post that I did last year. I don't know if
Yeah,
you've been
I
on
saw
Facebook
that.
or no.
Yep, I
Okay.
saw it.
So it popped up on I'll pop into Facebook in our memories on our Sober Not Mature page from you obviously a year ago, and it popped up last night. I'm like, okay, so you know what? I had thought about it, but figured I'd dig for it, but found it. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what? I like what was put together. You liked it. Both of us liked the
Yeah.
way it was. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take the same picture. I'm gonna take the same post. And then the afterthought that I had this morning, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna post that one thing today and give today is just for that.
Right.
So I didn't post an episode clip. I didn't post a reading. I didn't post I didn't post dick things or vibrator memes. I didn't
Well,
post,
heck.
I know. I didn't post anything. I'm like, okay, we can do this, right? I mean, have a little
Sure.
bit of fucking respect and give,
Yeah.
we're not going to, to the month, to the individuals, to the day, if nothing else. So, just left it. It was kind of nice not having to fuck with Instagram today too, but that's a side note. Um, but I go in there, I don't know even what time it was, probably at lunchtime, I think. And a lot of people are commenting on it. A couple of people shared it and, all this different
Mm-hmm.
stuff and, nice things with it. And that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
the community we have. And then
Mm-hmm.
I see this note. It was basically a response on the post that said unfollowed. And I looked at it and because I go through and I like the things that people comment on. I actually
Sure.
liked it before I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, unfollowed. And then I looked and I'm like, yeah, the dude fucking unfollowed us.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually wouldn't reply to something like that, but I'm like, fuck you. So I
Mm-hmm.
just said, if that's why or if this is why you unfollowed us, that's a good thing,
Right.
and left it at that. And
Mm-hmm.
again, same thing throughout the day. A couple of people had liked the comment or whatever, but it's some fucking dude from Texas, cowboy
Ah.
hat wearing, probably goat fucking dude from Texas. And first of all, we have friends in Texas. Nothing against you folks, you good
Right.
folks out there, our friends. But then I looked at it and there's like 57 of our followers that follow him because it shows on Instagram your shared followers.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, okay. So, not that they're supporting the guy. They don't know,
Right.
but
Right.
um and of course my first evil thought was I'm gonna fucking blast this guy out. And I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna play with that shit. But everyone will figure it out. If you got some fucking, racist, whatever, homophobe out there, everyone will figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a couple of the comments too. One of our followers just said, "Yeah, hey, bye, homophobe." Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's good. So here's the thing. I don't think, and I'm just gonna call it those people, not the LGBTQ plus community. I'm talking about people that are fucking haters. I don't think we have a lot of haters, that are listeners or followers or anything like that. I'm sure there's a few out there.
I'm sure.
Um, but if any of you are haters and you happen to listen to us, you're like, yeah, we're haters, but we think these guys are funny.
Uh-huh.
Don't listen.
Right.
I mean, go
Please.
away. Yeah, don't be a follower, don't be a listener. There we go again. We're telling people not to listen. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're hating on people, we want nothing to do with you at all,
Right. Right.
fucking ever. Right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So, if
Right.
if you if you are a hater, not normal people, we love all the rest of you guys, but if you're a hater, please turn this off. Unfollow us, get off of Instagram. Don't ever look at us again. We don't want to see you
Right.
ever.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if you saw my Pride Month
I
post.
did,
All
but
right.
repeat it. Repeat
All
it though.
right. Yeah, it's got rainbow hearts all over it, surrounding it. And it says, wishing all the homophobes a super uncomfortable month.
Yeah, I saw that when you posted it on Facebook, and I thought that's fucking fabulous.
Yes, it
Just
is.
That's fucking fabulous because I don't know, and I'm not gonna go into anything else or justify or whatever, but whatever it is, it's just we've talked about it very openly. Even when we were talking about that saying that Katie brought up,
Mhm.
hate the disease, not the addict, or whatever it
Right.
is.
Something like that.
And yeah, like you said, you're like, yeah, I don't hate anyone, and I mean, clearly that's not what the thing meant to begin with, like hate, but
Mhm.
um, we've talked about not hating people even when we're like, God, I hate that. Like, hate's a strong word.
Right.
Even hating a process or whatever it is.
Mhm.
So we ain't got no time for that. None.
Nope.
we're we're too sober for that shit.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I know. My company, they're on Facebook too, right? And they beginning of the month, they posted, happy Pride Month, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And of course the creepy, stupid truck drivers all had to, is this necessary? It's just like, you know what? Shut up, man. It's funny because the company just repeated the same answer over and over and over again. We're inclusive. We're, it's just like, God, man, I'm sorry it made you move and if you're very uncomfortable with it moving. You know, which is really the problem.
Right.
The thought
And
of a penis makes you uncomfortable. Doesn't make me uncomfortable. I look down and see one every day.
right. And it's just I don't know. It just like, it's, I have no words for something like that. It just,
Mm-hmm.
if the thing of it is, and like, if somebody wants to unfollow us, then just unfollow us.
Right.
And why just post it openly? I just don't get it. It's not even like the dude blocked us, so people can see the fuck that that he's a fucking hater on top of that, which just
Mm-hmm.
blows my mind. But the same thing, like you said, your company posting like that. So if somebody, I'm not going to even say fine, but if somebody doesn't like it, it is what it is.
Right.
Fuck them. But do you have to? What's the point of even? I don't see the point. I don't
Yeah,
see the
I
point.
I know. I
You know,
know. Right. I
there's
mean,
certainly.
there's a lot of things that, their point, but yes. Right. It's God. It's you love who you love and shut the fuck up. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's yeah, it just I don't know. I figured I'd start off with that, then we can get into our reading. We can cleanse our brains from that goat fucker, and then go on with our lives and our podcast.
Yes. Exactly.
But anyhow, so seriously, getting away from all the bullshit. I know we have individuals from the LGBTQ plus community that listen to us. I
Mhm.
have no idea how many. Don't care. Everyone who listens it is what it is. But
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
Pride.
I
It's
mean, we've
Pride
got
Month.
we've got friends, we've got family, guess what? Everyone listening does.
Right. But the serious thing is, we're behind you guys. Pride Month is great. It's wonderful.
Mhm.
Like I said in the post, and we said in the post, if there's ever anything we can ever help out with, we hope that we're there to do that. Just in a general sense, regardless, I don't give a fuck what month it is or who you are.
Mhm.
That's kind of our deal, right?
Absolutely.
So there. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So enough of that. No, I don't mean enough of that. Mean the goat fucking, not the Pride Month. More of that, less of goat fucking. Okay.
Well, hey man, if the goat's consenting, it's fine.
Yes. Are you a goat fucker? Yep, but it's consensual.
Right, but the
Okay.
goat likes it.
You never know. I mean, how do we know?
Do goats smile?
I don't know. I'll have to look it up. Note to self: check if goats smile when you fuck
Right.
them. Okay, there we go.
Well, not even, just whatever,
Oh,
you
wait,
know.
wait a second. Let me scratch that part out. I thought I
Yeah.
had to do that.
Right,
Okay,
right. No, just the goats smile, when they're
okay.
happy.
I thought you meant like when they were getting laid. I mean, I
Because,
was
well, I mean, hopefully they're happy when they're getting laid.
right, right,
So
okay,
are they smiling? That's, it's all about being happy, man.
right. Agreed. Like you said, consensual
Consent.
happy goats.
That's right. I'm all for it.
Right. Whatever makes your little corner of the world better.
That's right.
All right. So on that note, do you have a reading, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I can find one.
Yeah. So, and while you're finding one, so real quick question, and I thought about it while I ate in like 10 minutes tonight. It seems like an hour because by the time I was done with work to the time we started recording was an hour, and
Hmm.
I cooked the hamburger patty I was going to have last night, and all it is warming shit up. But I mean, I still was felt like I was rushing through. Not a big deal, but
Hmm.
I ate in I don't probably 8 minutes or something like that.
Keating
Just
Center.
that was my thought, and that was my question. Am I remembering that right? That we had a very limited amount of time.
Oh
It's just sit
yeah.
down and probably like what, 10 minutes. And if you're not done, they're like, you got to get up, clean up your
Yeah,
food, whatever.
right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, mealtime was very, very short. We had things to do. We had lives to change.
Okay. Right. Yeah. And, meetings to get to and whatever we
Right.
had to do. And then, yeah,
Well, we
cleaning
had to
up the.
clean up. Well, yeah, here's your food, eat it, now get moving. Yep.
Right. Yeah. We're going to help you sustain life. And then you need to
Hmm.
get the fuck out now.
Yep.
But
That's right.
seriously, when I got done, I'm like, oh my God, that was a fucking Keating Center meal. I'm like, oof.
Yeah, I had one myself this evening. Right.
Yeah, but that man's got to eat, so whatever works.
Hmm.
All right, you
All
good?
right. That sure, why not? I flipped open the book. Let's see what we have. We'll all find out together. How about October 19th? How about it? Let's see here. Yeah. Living well and beautifully and justly are all one thing. Socrates. Oh, I'm sorry. Socrates. I have seen Bill and Ted. All right. It is not complicated to live a good life. It is not hard, most times, to know what is the right thing to do. We can ask ourselves, is this the fair thing? Will it hurt anyone? Would it be okay if others do this too? Doing the right thing reflects good values such as justice, love, peace, and happiness. We know how to ask ourselves these questions and we know how to answer them honestly. The addict inside our heads does not want us to face these questions. The addict wants us to do the wrong thing so that perhaps our shame will lead us back into addiction. Luckily, our friends in recovery help us ask the right questions. As long as we are open with them and share all the things that go on in our lives. Our sponsor and our recovery friends help us live well, beautifully, and justly. Prayer for the day. Higher power, thank you for the gift of friends who help me live my new sober life in a good way. Help me to be a good friend to others too and help them live well. Today's action. Oh, those pesky actions. Today, I will list 3 times I have talked with recovery friends about a choice I faced. Did they help me choose an action that fit with beauty and justice? When have I helped others think about the choices they face in their own lives? Was this helpful to me too?
Well, so that the end part, and again, I kind of like to start with the end part first because
All right.
it kind of gets me thinking. But um, and what did it say? List 3 times. I mean, it always says a certain number of things or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
let's just say countless times, right? And
Yeah.
that's that we sat down and either talked to somebody or actually helped somebody make a choice, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, lots of times.
Right. Yeah. I mean, again, countless, but
Right.
um I mean that's the whole let's call it the crux of this thing that we do
Mm-hmm.
is that we're supposed to ask questions. We're supposed to go to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've been completely open on here that there's 2 people in my life that I go to all the time if I have
Right.
questions about life.
Mm-hmm.
One is on the podcast with me, my
Hi there.
friend and brother and podcast fellow
Yes.
J Mike over there, and
Mm.
then Kathy, our
Right.
our sister.
Right.
And usually it's for sometimes it's 2 separate things. There's things
Mm-hmm.
I talk to her about that I don't necessarily talk to you about, although
Right.
not that I wouldn't, and vice
Right.
versa. But sometimes there's 2 stages to it. It's like, okay, I get your input on this and her input
Mm-hmm.
on that, or both, because
Mm-hmm.
I trust you guys.
Right.
And a lot of times, even if I rare, very rarely do I not like the answer. I can't say that. But usually I know what the answer is, but a
Hmm.
lot of times I need that, and I'll just call it validation that
Mm.
am I fucking nuts? Am I
Right.
on the right path? Or
Hmm.
if my path is a little bit dusty or mangy, can you help me clean it up to show me the right way?
Right.
I mean, I think that's a good way to put it, right?
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, you know, prior to living this lifestyle, if you will, our decisions were shit, man. The choices we made and the rationalization in our own heads, because once again, as addicts and alcoholics, I mean, we can rationalize and justify anything. So we need that outside input, even if we think we're on the right track of whatever it is. We think we know the answer. We need to check and make sure we're not fucking, again, rationalizing and justifying, because that's what we do.
Right.
We need that outside. That's the whole point of the fellowship of the program, is having other people co-sign our bullshit, or or conversely, right, say, no man, you're fucking out of your mind, you're absolutely wrong, you're guess what, your thinking is wrong. Right. Again, we've been doing this for a minute, and we've had a little practice with this, doing the right thing. Is it going to hurt anybody? Is it right? Is it pure? Is it loving? Is it unselfish? All that, the absolutes, running through all those filters. We do that today, but again, being addicts and alcoholics, I can justify shit. I can say, well, of course it's unselfish, of course it's loving, right, because I'm full of shit, still am. Right, so we need the other person or other people to check our shit, man, make sure we are on that right path, clean that dust off, as you said.
And it's comforting. I mean, quite honestly, if nothing else, it's comforting not to be in this thing, whatever this thing is, whether it's
Mm,
sobriety, life,
mm,
a relationship or relationships, anything like that. It's comforting not to be in this shit alone,
right.
and it's comforting realizing that, okay, you don't have to figure all this shit out on your own. Whereas I know that I thought that I did before, because I
Hmm.
didn't either. I didn't trust anyone, because I deep down I wasn't trustworthy myself. So why trust
Exactly.
somebody else? And but on top of that, I knew what I was doing was wrong. If
Hmm.
nothing else, if I didn't openly know it, I fucking knew it. I'm not
Hmm.
a even when I was, completely drunk and completely delusional and in all those fucking things, I'm not I wasn't blind.
Right.
I mean, granted, I couldn't, well, not even that I couldn't see it. I'm sure this whole alcoholism thing or drug addiction thing, blocks certain parts of our brain. I think it's the denial.
Uh-huh.
Or we're not that bad because this thing wants to kill us and all
Right.
those different things. And we justify because, like you always say, it makes us feel good, or we're trying to get well, or
Uh-huh.
whatever the case is. But deep down, we're rational people. And we know
Hmm.
what's right or wrong. But these days, it's just great not having to go through life alone and make all these fucking decisions. Life can be a motherfucker sometimes.
Hmm.
And that reminded me of fucking hee haw. Does anyone know what hee haw is?
A few people.
There goes our four younger listeners.
That's right.
But um, but yeah, it's just one of those things that man, I mean, I don't know. It's great to have other people. That's really what
Yeah.
it comes down to, I think.
Absolutely. Well, and I mean, and like the reading said, you were talking about, deep down we knew that what we were doing wasn't right. Well, yeah, that's part of the cycle of addiction. Yeah, deep down we know what we're doing is wrong. Therefore, we have that shame, and we have to get loaded to cover up that shame, and it's that wonderful, lovely cycle of I'm shameful, I get loaded, I fuck up. I'm shameful, I get loaded, I fuck up. I'm shameful, right, over and over. I got to get loaded because I'm all full of shame and guilt and blah, 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 because I was doing the wrong fucking thing.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we don't have to live like that today.
Right. And even in that fucked up cycle, you throw in a few days here and there where it's like, I'm happy I got fucked up. Oops, now I'm shameful again.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So can you hear the dogs in the background?
Oh, of course.
I'm just like, Kathy must be out walking Moxie. Hang on 1 second. Talks amongst yourself for literally like 4 seconds, okay?
All right. Well, I think Bill's going to go check on the dogs. Clearly, he's back at Kathy's this week. And you know what? They're both going to be here tomorrow. So when you're listening to this thing, Kathy and Bill will be in Cleveland.
Yes. Yeah, and all I did was, yeah, I'm at Kathy's. I got back on what fucking day did I get back? Saturday? Yeah.
Sure.
I literally, from where my desk is set up, I could just open the door, mute, yell, "Shut up!" And they did. You know,
Yep.
they're actually her dogs. I mean, we've said it before. The big German Shepherd, that's Moxie. For the most part,
Mhm.
she'll get going, but she's pretty good. But Katniss and Tugger are the Shih Tzus, and again, they're loving dogs. They're wonderful. They're
The
great.
dust mops.
Yeah, they're dust mops. You know, they look like, little dust mops, but cute as fuck. But they can, when they get barking at something, especially Tugger, he's got this. He's little, but he's got this boldness about him. He's like, I'm gonna fucking bark.
The Napoleon complex.
Yeah, and he won't shut the fuck up. He just won't. And then, but he listens. That's all I do. I yelled out, "Shut up!" or "Knock it off," and they're like, "Okay, sorry, man. Chill out." Chill the fuck out, dude. Try to record
Right.
a fucking Bob, try to record a podcast. But yeah, I mean, it is. It is. It's so helpful and comforting, and man, it does. It just makes life is not always easy. But I mean, clearly having other people and
Mm-hmm.
just in general, not having to do any part of this thing alone I guess, is kind of the point, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, it brings up the old cliche: a problem shared is a problem cut in half.
Right. You know what's funny is that I think the first time, and I know I heard that in Cleveland, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
hear it like right away, like not in the first couple of weeks. I don't
Right.
think. But then I remember when I first heard somebody say that, I can almost envision it. It's like this cloudy vision of being in a meeting and somebody saying it. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
huh? Well, no shit. And it just the same thing as, like noticing different parts of the steps or somebody saying something or fucking you saying something.
Right.
I'm fucking 12 years sober, 2 years ago, and you're like, say something. I'm like, oh, well, okay. I get it now. Jesus Christ. What the fuck were you doing for the last 12 years? I don't know.
Well, yeah. moving
Continuous.
towards that, moving towards that moment where you finally figured something out.
Right. But yeah, first of all, every time I read that reading, I do the same thing. I say Socrates. Every time I see I never say Socrates ever. I just
Right.
every fucking time since when did Bill and Ted's
Socrates.
yeah, when did Bill and Ted's movie come out? 20,
Uh
30 years ago? 25 years
oh
ago?
yeah. Late 80s.
Right? Yeah,
Yep.
and so literally for the last, let's call it 25 years or oh fuck 30 years, I guess. Um
Uh-huh.
I think I've said Socrates.
30 plus years.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. Isn't it?
1990 was 34 years ago.
Oh my god, so 80, wow, isn't that fucked up? Jesus Christ.
I know.
Yeah.
Right. I know. I mean, I never think about it that way, but yes, 1990 was 34 years ago.
Well, and I think what maybe I saw it on Facebook recently, and I'm not going to go because I don't give a fuck about people from high school. But yeah,
Mm.
so my 40th would be coming up in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
40, fucking 40 years being
Right.
out of fucking high school. That's
Now,
that's fucking crazy.
yeah, talk about freedom.
Yeah, really. But I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, I'm not going to hang out with all those old people.
Fuck no.
But seriously, no, I
I
have.
didn't like most of them when I was there. Why would I want to go back now?
Well,
They sure as hell didn't like me.
and I even the one person. There's one person that I'm sorry, two, and she was a grade ahead of me. But there's one other person that I think I told you is sober. She's ordered coffee from us and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
we're friends on Facebook, and she follows us on Instagram, and we'll chit chat every once in a while. Not a lot, but I mean,
Right.
I keep in touch with her, and there were a couple of people over the years. I mean, since the people that know that I'm, well, now everyone does if they paid attention because I posted
Mm-hmm.
it. But a couple other people, maybe three, four, but I don't fucking deal with anyone from high school. I just
Right.
don't. No desire.
I mean, yeah, on Facebook, that's what fucking Facebook is for. I mean, yeah, there's probably, I don't know, maybe a couple dozen
Right.
But yeah, that's it, man. It's, hey, what's up, blah blah blah. And yeah. Glad you're doing okay. I'm doing okay too. Moving on.
Right. Hey, good to see you.
Yeah. Glad you're still breathing. Me too.
Yeah, exactly. So, other things that I wrote down to begin with was not hard to know the right thing to do, good values, want to do the wrong thing. I'll get back to that, and then help us live well. But so the first part of that reading, and I forget how it was worded, but somewhere along the lines of it's really not that hard to know the right thing to do. But that's kind of what
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about. That in active addiction, it's really difficult. Maybe it's not difficult. I don't know. Is it difficult to know or just to do because we don't give a fuck? What do you think?
Again, probably all of the above. Yeah, we
Right.
don't give a fuck, and again, it feeds the disease. It helps with the. I have an excuse to get loaded because I feel like shit because I did the wrong thing.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
But then, I mean, that kind of leads into good values, which I think is something that, I mean, I know that I was raised on, well, mom.
right.
I mean, she had good values. She was
Mm-hmm.
a decent person. I mean, she wasn't
Absolutely.
always, straight and narrow on everything, but
No.
she's a good person, taught us good values, the whole bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, those bend and they tend to break after a while, especially in, the more fucked up we get. It just, that goes back to the same thing, not caring, right? You lose those
Yep.
values, and I don't know. I mean, get a little bit of sobriety under your belt. And that's one of the first things they teach us is how to be and how to live as better people, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, and again, it comes back to the rationalizing and the justifying our behaviors. I mean, I certainly thought I was, a halfway decent person, and I was doing the right things, and because everybody else is fucked up and wrong, and so, if they just do things my way, then things would be wonderful. Right, my way is the right fucking way. Don't you understand, asshole?
Right. Yeah, and that's a story in the big book, for anyone who's never read it, not that I'm going to have you go out and search for the chapter, but
Right.
it talks about that being the what organizing the play or being
Yeah, being the director.
the director. There you go. I'm like, wow, why can't I
Yep.
think of the word, if everyone, and that's exactly what that whole piece is about. It's just,
Uh huh.
if everyone would just do what I say, act as I want them to be,
Mm-hmm.
everything would be fine, which is complete horseshit. I mean, we
Well,
know
yeah,
that
it's
now, but
insane, right?
yeah. Well, two things. It's never going to happen, but even if it
Right.
did, there's still going to be something you're going to bitch about. I mean,
Oh
all of
God,
us will.
yes. Right. Yeah, you're doing what I told you to do. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah, but you're still doing it wrong.
Well, of course you're doing it wrong, and you're doing it exactly the way I told you to do it. Why? Right.
Right.
I'm a complete fucking lunatic, man. Why are you doing what I told you to do? What's wrong with you?
What are you, fucking idiot?
Exactly.
And then towards the end, and again, I don't remember what part I write down these little things, but I just put "help us live well." But I think that's just a culmination of everything that was in that reading. That
Right.
we learn to, and everything that we learn, we do obviously helps us to live well and live a better life. But
Right.
um, the thing that I left for the end, and I'm going to put a big circle around this one: want to do the wrong thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
Mike, how do
Mm-hmm.
you feel about that? How many times per day would you rather do the wrong fucking thing?
Hundreds.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, of course. Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, but no, no, I don't. And quite frankly, no, I wouldn't want to. Yes, I have the thoughts, and yes, but no, I also understand today that choices and consequences, man, and I don't want to live with the ramifications of doing the wrong thing today. I want to do the right thing because I want those ramifications, damn it.
Right. Yeah, and it's still there are God, I can't think of one right off the top of my head, but it could be anything. It could be fucking anything. I could be
Eh,
anywhere, be in the car, in the grocery store, on the phone with somebody. I could be working. I could be with a friend. I could be anywhere. It doesn't matter that. But yeah, doing the wrong thing sometimes it feels like the easier choice. It isn't,
mm-hmm. Mm-mm.
because ramification. I mean, there's going to be some sort of fucking blowback from all of this stuff sooner or later, but. yeah, it's just that instinct, that initial thing. What do you
Oh
always
yeah,
say? 40 years we lived a certain way, and then
yeah.
we're again, quote unquote, only, which is true.
Hmm.
14 years into living or trying to live a better life.
Right.
Those old ways don't just fucking disappear.
No, they don't. Absolutely not. No. So, so we do the right thing because, again, in the long run, being selfish and self centered and wanting to feel good all the time, it does. It feels better. And the rewards, that's what it is, man. I get the rewards of doing the right thing, even when I don't want to, because I know that there is a reward at the end of it. Yeah,
Right.
because I'm still again selfish and want to feel good. And yes, so and maybe it is a little bit harder, but in the end, it's really not.
Right. Yeah, we say it all the time, and I know we were talking about it more. I can't remember in what context than last week's episode, but what seems to be the easier, softer way isn't, and what takes a little bit of work, a little bit of effort just to get in your
Yep.
groove. This thing that we do now, that this way of life, and I'm not talking just sobriety, but everything that goes
Mm-hmm.
along with it, which is obviously because of the fact that we were sobered, we were taught, and we learned, and all that stuff. That surprisingly enough turns out to be
Mm,
the easier, softer way.
it does. Damn it.
Hey, what's funny too? It just made me think about it. We were talking about all this stuff about how we used to be. So I had dinner with a friend of mine recently, and just kind of telling stories and these backstories and all that stuff, and telling her some of the ways that I used to be and how I act, and especially
Mm-hmm.
being, I'm like, again, I always talk about that. I'm egotistical, but I was narcissistic, and a lot of the stories we talk about on here. And she looked at me and she's like, don't take offense to this at all. And I'm like, I'm sure I won't.
Mm-hmm.
But she said, I can see all of that in you. and I
Nice.
and I said good. I said, because I'm still me, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and in the fact that you could see, because I mean, my personality and outgoing in this I clearly I fuck around a lot. There's that egotistical part of me, and
Mm-hmm.
all those different things. I mean, everything that I haven't changed, in the
Right.
the core of me, but the shit that comes out of me now is positive rather than negative. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't take much. It's a couple of words, it's a couple of phrases, and a couple of actions with how I act on a daily basis, that just would make me an extreme asshole, dick, and a motherfucker versus,
Mm-hmm.
less of that, which
Mm-hmm.
is who I am today, is less of that.
Right.
But then the other thing she said, because I laughed and I actually said thank you, and then
Mm-hmm.
she goes, one of the reasons I could see it, she's like, because I'm the same exact way. She goes,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, oh yeah, you see that? And I said that happens to me. I said, Mike and I talk about that all the time. The things that we either despise or pick out in somebody else, or nine times
Mm-hmm.
out of ten, are usually things that are within us. You can't
Mm-hmm.
bullshit a bullshitter,
Right.
that sort of thing. But it just made me laugh. I don't. I'm sure. Well, I mean, probably have said that you could imagine, how I used to be, type of thing.
Sure.
Just we know each other very well, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've had many people say something like that to me or pick up on things like that. And I thought it fucking made me laugh. And I'm like, first of all, I didn't take offense to it. I'm like, that's fucking
Right.
awesome,
Mm-hmm.
because that means that you can, again, that's somebody that's actually paying attention,
Right.
and not just looking at the surface of somebody going, I see this that nasty ass motherfucker in there. I see
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing with him now, and that's
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Right.
Which I looked at it like, yeah, thank you. That's a
Right.
compliment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, right. And it also shows that we're living honestly and not trying to hide who we
Right.
are. Right. Yeah. This is me, Yes, and I am working on it. And yes, I am. It is a bit of a struggle sometimes, but yeah, but the long and short of it is I'm a pretty, I'm doing the next right thing, and that's all that fucking matters.
Right. Yeah, I'll take a line from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I like me. My customers like me.
Right.
And I don't know how many times I talked about that, but it is. It's down to the point where, yeah, I mean, I think everyone still has. I still have those things and isms where you compare yourself to other people, or maybe you want to change some things here or there, whether it's
Mhm.
physically or I want to act differently, whatever the case may be. But really, when it comes down to it, any changes I would have to make with myself, I mean, if there's anything, it's so minimal because I'm
Mm,
truly happy with who I am as an individual, where
right.
I'm at in my life. Once again, we talked about this before. I don't have all the toys, I don't have all the shit. I sure as fuck
Mm-hmm.
don't have all the money.
Mm-hmm.
But um, I, you said the same thing. I'd like a couple of more dollars or a couple more nice things. I think when we were
Uh-huh.
talking about it. But you know what? In general, though, once again, fucking freedom, just
Right.
to be able to say I'm all right with myself. I can lay
Yeah.
my head down at night and I'm pretty cool with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I love it when, if somebody has a problem with me today, generally it's like, you know what? That's your fucking problem, dude. Cuz moving along, moving along.
Right.
I'm not
And
going to sit
usually,
here and argue with you, and I'm certainly not going to try to be what you want because you're fucking trying to be the director. And hey, guess what? I don't take fucking direction very well.
but the beautiful part is usually the things that people, if there are people out there that don't like things about us, and I mean, I'm not saying all this shit because we're far from perfect, but
Hmm.
when I've run across things, if somebody doesn't like me or something I'm doing, usually I mean, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just being me. And
Hmm.
you're right. It's somebody nitpicking at something that maybe they're unhappy with or whatever. Like, well, I don't like you because of that. Really? I'm over here living living my best life.
That's right.
But no, seriously, we're out. We're just over here doing our thing, and if people don't like it, like you said, fuck them.
Hmm.
Fuck you.
Yep.
All right, so that's a nice way to wrap up a nice reading with a fuck you, but wouldn't be the first time, right?
Right. Absolutely not.
So anything else in that reading? I mean, I liked it. That was a good one
Yeah.
for again just picking out a random one. Plus, I thought it played in really well with our
Yeah, it
hater
did. Yeah, I
conversation.
know. When I started when I started reading it, I was like, "Oh, wow, this works. Hey, look at that. Power's greater than ourselves."
Yeah, and that is fucking weird. Again, whole thing that you and I, again, an atheist and at best an agnostic over here,
Hmm.
and we just had the universe step in with a great reading that
That's right.
kind of complimented, or when you say complimented, kind of beat the fuck out of that conversation. So I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And you know what? I do want to read the Socrates quote again because I really like it. Yes. Living well and beautifully and justly are all one thing.
Nice. That is nice. Yeah, very very nice. Thank you, Socrates.
Yes.
But on that note, what do you think? Are we about there? We're already 40 minutes in. What do you think about that, man?
Wow. Yeah. Well, I think I think it's about time for us to shut our mouths for a moment and have a word from our sponsor.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober Not Mature,
Hi
and
there.
yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have two websites now. So we wanted
Two.
two websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.SoberNotMature.com. And we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's
Yes.
www.SoberNotMatureShop.com.
Ah.
But from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can
Right.
access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is
at
a
least,
big deal.
at least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And
They
once
are.
again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. .com.
.com.
.com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone. You've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right, everyone. Welcome back. And yeah, time fucking flies when you're having fun and bitching about goat fuckers and then having nice readings. And
man, stop putting down goat fuckers.
Oh, by the way, hang on. We got our seriously our search results, and I know where it comes from now. Where was it? It was fucking mature pissing again. We're for search results. Hang
nice.
on here. Okay, so top growing queries. Okay. Matures with an S, pissing. Mature pissing with only one S, so people that are out there looking for it can't even fucking spell. And then everymature.com. So people were looking for, mature.com, also mature piss and mature pissing still. So
nice.
What it is, and whatever episode that was, that our piss drawers or whatever the case was, that's what did it.
Yeah.
But so it's more the episode title, because I did that shortly after that I looked at some of the transcripts and just tried to pick out like keywords in there just to see if I could did a search on that if it would pop up, and it didn't. And who knows? I mean, maybe sooner or later it will. So yeah, if I keep saying those other two words, we're gonna get these people that are out there looking for animal fun.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, all right. Just don't use it as a pejorative, because there's not a damn thing wrong with it if the goat likes it.
Right. Okay. Then I won't. I'll stop that. Whoever that guy is, I'll just call him a dickhead. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't give him right. Don't elevate him by calling him a goat fucker.
Right. Okay. That's fair. All right. So, we did just kind of making a note here. We talked about the Pride post, talked about that. Oh, so how about some music news? What do you think?
All right. Let's do it.
So the members of the band ABBA were knighted in Sweden.
Okay.
That's all I got. I just wanted to read that to see what your reaction was.
Okay. I mean, aren't two of them women, and isn't that like some sort of other thing that they do to them, make them ladies or something? Or I don't know. I don't know how it works in Sweden.
I have no idea. It was just it was a news story, and I looked it up, and it said the members of the band ABBA were knighted in Sweden. I'm like, hey, we actually have a presence in our list of countries. It's obviously U.S. first. I think the UK or Canada is second, and then in the long list of like less than 1% of our listeners, Sweden is like number 1 or 2 on our list. It's clearly it's not alphabetical. So we do have some listeners in Sweden. I didn't know until I wrote that down, because I looked real quick, but no, I literally just read that off because I wanted to just see what you said. All right.
Yeah. Good for them.
All right. Exactly. Okay. So one more thing of music news, and this is a Mark Maron thing.
Okay.
When I was coming back from where the fuck was I last time? Oh yeah, Branson. I listened to, and this is from a while ago. He had Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day on.
I listened to that one. Yeah.
Okay, so this is like 2 years ago, I think.
It wasn't that long ago,
wasn't it?
No, it was within the last few months.
Oh, was it? Okay,
yeah, it was like 4 months ago, maybe at the most. Yeah.
I keep forgetting. He does what, 2 episodes a week?
Yeah, he does 2 a week. Right. Yeah. Okay. Mondays and Thursdays.
So that's probably, because what I did was I was just driving along and I just kind of reached over and I spun, kind of spun it up. Right. And then I looked, I'm like, ooh, so I grabbed that. So first of all, as I always ask you, because I don't think we ever talked about Green Day, your opinion, or what about Green Day? What is your thought pattern?
They're all right. Yeah, they're fine. They're not fantastic, and they certainly don't suck. Yeah, they're okay. Yeah. I liked what was it, Nimrod better than Dookie, but yeah, they're fine.
Yeah, and that and talk about what were we talking about 30 and 40 years. It's
Mm,
whenever he was talking about the 30-year anniversary, which I'm sure I knew it when they did the tour. That might have been last summer, or the summer before. Well, they were there the night before at the Harley reunion
right. Yeah.
when we were there. They were the
Right.
headliner, like the Foo Fighters were Saturday, they were Friday.
Yep.
But I think that was their anniversary tour at Dookie for 30 years. I think, if I could be wrong on that, but
Yeah.
so a couple of things with that. First of all, I don't remember knowing that he was sober. Did you know that before you listened, or?
Um. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I knew it. Yeah. I mean, I know he's not real huge open about it, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was, I guess, because I was trying to get the time frame on there because he talked about original was 2012 and then he went back out in 2017, and
Hmm.
he never really said how long he was back out. But when I looked it up, it looked like it was 2019 ish. I think that he came back
All
or
right.
got sobered up again. So again, not that it really matters, but I just didn't remember, or I don't know if I knew. But
Uh
the
huh.
other thing too, so at the beginning of the podcast, Mark said, he goes, I had to kind of take a jump and a leap. And it sounded like to me that he was going to have, he led into it. At least I was thinking it was going to be a tough interview. Like he was, whatever the thing was. Now,
Uh huh.
to begin with, it seemed like Billy Joe was a little hard to kind of draw out type of thing. He
Right.
was giving very, like that one word answers, right?
Uh huh.
Yes, no, this,
Right.
that. And maybe that's what Mark was talking about. But I
Sure.
don't know what part that he like had to take some leap to get him to pull out. He just started talking. They started opening up, and I think he loosened up. He was probably, I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe he's not a talker. He's not a podcast guy.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right.
but I don't know. I just thought in general it was good, and I don't want to say grew up with him, and I was in my obviously in my 20s. When I listened to him, I enjoyed Green Day. There was a time when they played a lot of Green Day on the radio station I listened to, and
Hmm.
I know I had a couple of their cassettes.
Right.
And I did. I mean, I enjoyed them to this day. As they pop up on Spotify or something like that. I mean, I enjoy their music. Like you said, it's not one that They're not my. They're certainly not on the top of my list, but not on the bottom of the list by a long shot.
Uh
Easily
huh.
middle of the road. They're snappy. It's something you can dance to.
Right.
And he said that. He said that was kind of like the key of some of their music. They wanted
Oh,
people to
absolutely.
dance to
Yeah,
it.
I mean, well, yeah, they're a pop band, they're just yeah, absolutely. And plus, they have the best meth song ever. So, right.
Which one?
Insomniac.
Oh, is it? Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, totally, it spun out in my room on my own. Here we go.
Right. Huh, interesting. It's some of those things I guess I didn't pay attention to, but yeah, I mean, I know the song and
Mhm.
their new album because he was talking about that, and I hadn't after I listened to it because after I was done doing that, I listened to their new album on Spotify, which
Uh-huh.
enjoyable. Same. It's Green Day. There's one
It's
or two
Green Day,
songs.
right.
Yeah, there's one or two songs that maybe don't sound Green Day-ish, and he had mentioned there was I forget which ones, but
Mm,
he tried to I don't know tried different couple of different things, which is fine.
right.
But it was
Yep.
like you said, it was Green Day, Um, but yeah, just in general, I mean, that like you said, they're there. I never turn them off if they come on, and they're in a mix of a lot of music that I listen to because it's from
Mhm.
it's they're lumped in with all the other fucking alternative music that I
Right.
listen
All
to.
that other 30-year-old music that you listen to, as
Yeah.
opposed to the 50-year-old music that I listen to.
Right. Yeah, it is fucking amazing when I mean the more I think about it, it's like, some of these songs, I mean literally, I mean some of my favorite songs I mean came out in the from 95 to about 2005.
Mhm.
That's like my that's the area, the majority of the music that I really fucking enjoy is from that time frame. Now, granted, go back to Nirvana and all that shit early 90s, but all that stuff melds into the rest of it anyhow. So but yeah, it was just I just didn't know if you first of all what you thought of Green Day or if you'd ever listened to that episode. So
Yes,
that
both too, yes. They're fine, and yes, I did happen to listen to that one.
cool. Well, I think that that ends music news for the evening. So let's go on
Alright.
to one more thing. This one, yet another news story. that they popped up. They said, and this is the tease, but obviously I looked it up. Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Quality.
Their, I know, but for their anniversary. So, how many years do you think? I'll ask you. Do you think that Pabst Blue Ribbon has been around?
Around.
Yes.
I believe. I'm trying to think if they were around before Prohibition and then came back. I'm going to go ahead and say yes, Alex. They were around before Prohibition. So
Yes.
yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead.
180 years old.
There you
Okay.
go.
So, in honor of their 180 years in business,
Mhm.
they are no shit because I fucking looked it up. They are coming out with a 180 pack.
All right. Still not enough, but all
I
right.
know. And you know what I did when they said it, because first of all they're like, and I looked it up, and it looks like, I mean, they put it in a big, it's in a big fucking box, but
Well,
I
yeah, right.
but I think inside, because they said it's, the obviously 30, well, not 30, 630 packs. So
Right.
I don't know if it's like 630 packs inside around a container. I would assume. I don't think it's 180 individual cans in this
Loose.
big. Right. I
Right.
don't think. But I swear to God, what I did as soon as that, I'm like, oh shit, that's 12 days for me. When I was
Yeah.
because, and that's not just beer, because I was going through a 30 pack every 2 days,
Hmm.
but that was on top of a big fucking bottle of whiskey.
Right. A handle.
Yeah, and in two of those, yeah, I'm like, fuck. I'm literally in my head. I mean, right away. Now, okay, so last thing, because they said the cost. What do you think
uh,
the cost of that would be for a 180 pack? God, now fucking
$1.99.
Moxie's $1.99.
Well, that's what it's worth.
Right. It's like $95, or it's like
Yeah, all
just
right.
under
Yeah.
100 or something like that. But
Uh-huh.
um, but I was like, the first thing I thought about, I'm like, okay, so if you got one of those things, I
Hmm.
mean, you would need, unless you were out in the parking lot, literally taking it apart and having to put these individual 30 packs into your vehicle. You'd
Uh-huh.
need a fucking truck to take your beer home.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, so, but
Yeah.
but I don't have a truck,
I'll find a way. I'll strap it to the hood of my car.
Oh, I know what I would have done. I mean, I would have just fucking taken it apart, just out in the parking lot, taking it apart, and put it in my car. But it just cracked me up. I'm like, fucking really, and I okay,
Just set
fine,
it up next to my car and, see you in about a week and a half.
exactly. But you know what? I mean, I get it. It's an anniversary thing, and it's a promotional thing, and people
Right.
fucking buy them, and it's just bring, I don't know, it is what it is from a marketing standpoint. It just fucking made me laugh. I'm like, fucking really, 180 pack.
All right.
I don't know. Like I said, I was never. I think I drank. I drank that if that was the only thing to drink, or if that was the cheapest beer around. Never as I get older, but like high school days and shit like that.
Right.
Or younger days, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was never a Paps guy either, but yeah. I mean, it got hip there. Well, speaking of 30 years ago, right? The kids got all, ooh, Paps Blue Ribbon, whatever. Go watch Blue Velvet, man. Paps fucking Blue Ribbon.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not good. It's like Budweiser. Budweiser wasn't any good either.
Hey
So,
now.
did you like Budweiser?
I have the Anheuser-Busch Eagle tattooed on my arm.
No, I know that, but I mean, did you actually like the beer? I didn't know if you just
I
got the tattoo because you thought it was cool.
Well, yes, and Alice Cooper always drank Budweiser. I mean, Michelob was superior because it was the quality beer from Anheuser-Busch. But yeah, no, Budweiser, America, come on, man, give it the
Yeah.
program.
Well, and again, my drinking days were spent in Milwaukee, so you know what
Hmm.
I drank. I drank all Miller products, not because I had to. I mean, Coors products I drank, but now those are all part of, it's all
Yeah,
Miller Coors now. But yeah, I don't know. Miller was kind of what was around. Budweiser, same thing. There was speaking of high school and buddies from high school, I had three different friends that worked for two for one grocery store and one for another one, and they would, because we're all underage, they would
uh-huh.
they would steal beer and they would take it out back, and just put it out by the dumpsters, and then we fucking roll by and after the store closed and picked up the beer. It was funny. We did
Hmm.
that for a while. So But a lot of times, yeah, Budweiser was what we got for whatever reason. I don't know why. If that was the easiest to, you know, to take out or whatever the deal was or wherever it
Right.
was in the storeroom. But I'm not saying I didn't drink it. It just I wasn't a fan. How's
All
that?
right. All right.
Feel like whatever.
Whatever.
All right. So we talked about that one, I think.
Mm.
So did I ask this one? This is from a day at a time. It meetings, do I concentrate on the message rather than the messenger? Did we talk about
Mm.
that one?
I don't think so.
Okay, so let me repeat that again. So you're at a meeting, and it said it was right in the reading though. It says, "Do I concentrate on the message rather than the messenger?"
Right. Yeah. Depends what she looks like.
Well, okay, I'll put my input in a little bit. Go ahead.
Right. Principles before personalities. Yeah, I mean, we all, judge a book by its cover to a certain extent. But yes, I definitely try to listen to the message. I mean, there's I've heard plenty of leads from the podium where, yeah, they're whatever, good looking person, look like they have their shit together, blah, 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 and they have absolutely nothing to fucking say. And then there's people that get up there and they look like shit, and you go, oh, crap, here we go. This is going to be a bunch of garbage, and they have a fucking wonderful message. So yes, I definitely concentrate on the message, and the messenger doesn't matter. If anything I've learned in this world, it's don't judge that book by its cover. Look at me, look at you, Jesus Christ.
Right? Yeah. Well, in the first thing I thought about, and it's funny that you said, depends on what she looks like, because I thought about that, especially early on, when we started going to, which wasn't right away,
Hmm.
going to like mixed meetings and stuff
Right.
like that. But then you get some chick up there, and I mean, she's like, fucking smoking hot, and to begin with, you're like, God damn. But then you're right, it could go either way, person that seems like they have all their ducks in a row, all their shit together,
Hmm.
whatever you want to say, and they just it's a fucking garbage. They're just gossiping up there, sort
Yeah,
of.
right. Yeah, or a drunkalog or whatever. Yeah, right. It's yeah.
Yeah, like okay, fine, that's great story, thank you. But the
Uh-huh.
same thing, it doesn't matter whether it's a man or a woman. There's been some people up there, like you said, get some scary ass fucking dude up there, like maybe the
Mhm.
people that don't know you. I mean, you're not scary, but I
Right.
thought you were to
No.
begin with.
Mm.
Scare the fuck out of me. But so the thing of it is, and I think it might have been. So I thought about a couple of things. In general, kind of the joke thing, yeah, she's fucking hot. I'm not listening to her message type of thing, which is
Mm.
untrue.
Mhm.
Or the same like you said, some guy that looks like a piece of shit, and you're like, this is going to be fucking nuts. I'm not going to listen to it. But not judging a book by its cover, I think it was harder to begin with because
Mm.
I know, well, at least for me, I know that at least early on, whether it was 30 days, 60 days, or even longer, I was still probably trying to compare myself to other people,
Right.
um, with the message and with the outward appearance.
Mhm.
So I think it was more difficult then than it is now. But I don't think it really. I don't think the person matters to me anymore. I don't give a fuck who's up there.
Right.
It depends on it. The message is what matters, and
Mhm.
you get somebody up there that's got 40 years of sobriety, and you're like, Jesus, this fucking person, shut the fuck up. We don't need to
Right.
hear about every instance that you drank
Mhm.
for 25 fucking years. We get it, you know.
Right. Yeah,
And
well,
then
I mean, I'm shit, man. Personally, I've heard some pretty crappy leads at Founders Day at the big meeting.
right,
I'm sitting there going, "What the fuck, man?" I've heard better leads at a meeting with 10 people.
right,
Yeah, some of them have been really good, and some of them have been shit. I we've left a couple of times because
right.
it was like, this is garbage. I don't need to sit here and listen to this.
Yeah, it comes down to the fact where, it's I'd rather beat the traffic than listen to this wrap up because
Yeah.
and that's the thing too. So for people who don't know, and I mean, obviously we could touch on a little bit more on Founders Day, but
Hmm.
I mean that lead goes probably at least an hour and a
Yeah.
half sometimes,
Yeah. Sometimes, right.
and so it's not your typical walk into a meeting, quick, even if it's a long meeting, people go an hour maybe, but it's rare in the Cleveland area, except if
Sure.
you're like at one of those meetings. But
Right.
um, but in Founders Day, it's a different story, and I don't know. It's usually by the time that they're a good 45 minutes in, both you and I know where it's going and whether we want to stick
Mm-hmm.
around for the ending that we know is going to happen.
Right.
And it's just kind of like, let's go beat the fucking traffic. It's been a long
Yep.
day.
Yep.
But but yeah, I just thought that was interesting, and I didn't know if we had talked about that before, so I'm glad we didn't. But yeah, I think it was really hard for me to begin with, to concentrate, not to compare. But certainly these days, I try to. The message is what matters to me. I don't give a flying fuck
Mm-hmm.
what people look like anymore. I don't care if they're wearing a suit or not or a tie.
Right.
I get it; it's out of respect, in most
Mm-hmm.
meetings, but. I just don't think it matters anymore, to me, what that person's wearing. My dad used to always say, what do you get when you put a pig in a suit? It's a nicely dressed pig. That's all that it is.
Absolutely. Yep.
yet, yet one of my dad's other favorite little sayings, which is I know he stole it from somebody like we steal everything, but
Exactly.
so yeah, okay. So try to focus on the message, not the messenger. And then, so Founders Day in general, and yeah, like Mike was saying when I was yelling at the dogs, yeah, we're heading out. I'm off of work tomorrow, and I actually took off Monday too because I didn't know what time we were going to be back. But
Mm-hmm.
um, with the exception of 2 years because of the pandemic and 1 year because I got to babysit, had the pleasure of babysitting for my
Mm-hmm.
grandson.
Right.
And you had other plans that year too. So I think we've missed 3 out of the last 15 years because we
Yep.
went year one.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, all in all, we've had a really good run at Founders Day, and it is kind of the same old thing. We do the same old things every time, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think you agree. It's one of the nicest times, sober times of the year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I'm 10 to 15,000 people just like us, hanging out on the University of Akron campus and, celebrating this thing we call Alcoholics Anonymous. 89 years ago, Bill was in Akron, Ohio, fucking up another deal. And because that's what he did.
Right.
And right, he's staying in a hotel by himself and looked into the bar and went, I could probably very easily walk in there and I probably fucking shouldn't. So I'm gonna pick up a telephone. And he did, and he called and yeah, found Dr. Bob a couple days later, and yeah, and the rest is history, as they say.
Right. But it is. I mean, it's a great time. And I know we've talked about it before, but yeah, that first year, I mean, you chose to go with a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
I was taken. I didn't want to go. I was still
Right.
fuck. I mean, what were we? Again, we were a month and a half sober,
Yeah.
I think, at the
Right.
time.
Yep.
I was clearly still in my angry stage.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember walking up there and I felt really fucking nervous just because it is. I mean, it's warm out. It was a party atmosphere,
Yep.
and even though people weren't drinking, I just felt very uncomfortable that first year
Mm-hmm.
until we get up in the stands, and that's when they still had both sides of the stadium open, and
Right.
we get up there, we sit down, and I was just like, wow, this is. I had that thought in my head. I'm like, if there was a plane going overhead that could see what's going on and actually see closely. There's no way in the fucking world anyone would have thought that everyone in that stadium was sober,
Right.
because that's the kind of atmosphere it was. And usually, by this time of year, mostly, I think it's only going to be. I looked at the weather. I think it's only going to be in a low to mid 60s or something like
Yeah.
that.
70
Oh, is
ish.
it okay?
Yeah.
But yeah, shit. Up until today, it looked like it was going to rain, and I'm like, fuck me.
Mm-hmm.
But so the weather's nice, and it's there's always. I mean, the sky looks cool. It's a summer night,
Yeah.
and it's this party atmosphere type of thing. But you're doing it all sober, and it's just it's one of my favorite times of the year. As far as sober events, two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Our anniversary weekend, whatever we do, wherever we go, is usually number one for me, and this is number
Right.
two, and. Yeah, I mean Keating Center events obviously I love, but these are the anniversary and Founders Day are my top two out of the year. I enjoy it. I look forward to it every year.
Yep. Me too. Yeah. It's going to be fun.
But so it's been, God, how long has it been? A couple years since we've actually taken guys down there. Because I mean,
Right.
I think Marty has it all handled with the guys that are there. The guys take guys type of thing, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, definitely the first 10 years or so, we always took somebody.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Marty, who needs a ride? Yeah, take this guy, this guy, and this guy. All right. All right. But yeah, about 5 years or so ago, he said, nope, we got it. And I think we asked the next year and he said, nope, we got it. So we don't
Right.
ask anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Which is fine. It is what it is. We met some, I'll call it interesting guys, some decent guys, and
Mm-hmm.
some interesting guys too. Guys that were same thing. I mean, everyone that went with us, if I'm not mistaken, was less than 60 days or less. Would that be right?
Right. Yeah, that'd be about right. Yeah. Well, they're
Right.
certainly halfway guys, so less than 90 for sure.
Yeah, can I just say, I think, yeah, I was going to say maybe some of them had, 2.5 months or close to three, but we had a couple of guys that were only, less than 30 days, a
Oh,
couple of
yeah.
weeks, that were, I mean, they were brand fucking new.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a couple of guys that, that we took over the years that, literally look like, fucking deer in the headlights, probably same as I did.
Same as we did. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's a good time. And usually when, and I think we're going to try, obviously timing and depending on if it works, try to hit our old home group, which is Who Do You Know, and
Mm-hmm.
try to hit that tomorrow night. And yeah, it's always a nice weekend. And then I believe as the group text was blowing up everyone's phone this afternoon, I
Right.
think that. uh, and again, I was gonna, I know Kathy will listen to this, but I almost at one point because it's buzzing next to me while I'm working, I was
Mm.
about to say, "Get your own room," type of thing. Which again, it was fine. She was just trying to figure out with Carla and see if she was coming down,
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, I think that we might get together and go to my friends on Sunday. So which would be
Right.
nice. And that place. I love that place. I know what I'm getting to. That fucking monster turkey sandwich that's cheap as fuck,
Right.
but
Yep.
everything there is.
Yeah, pretty much. Right. Yeah. Right. And for those of you who don't know, My Friends is the name of a restaurant here in Cleveland. It's kind of an upscale diner. It's a very nice place.
Yeah, and it's a place where a bunch of us people hang out, just
Yeah.
inadvertently. It's just
Right.
I mean
Well,
for
it's open
years.
24 hours. So yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah,
it's
that's good.
it's a place to go after a meeting,
Right.
have some coffee and some pie and shoot the shit.
And seriously, I mean, when I think when that first, well, it was a few years ago when you, me, and Chris went there, and we
Mm-hmm.
all got like, I mean, there were good size portions. I mean, it's yeah, this turkey sandwich I got was like fucking 3 inches thick, and whatever you get French fries, I think you get a salad with it, and grab a soda, and you guys got the same thing. I think the entire bill was maybe $25, maybe 30 with a tip or something.
Right.
It was cheap. I mean, it's not crazy expensive. The service is good. The food is good. And just
Yep.
yeah, it's a nice, comfortable place to hang out. So
Mm-hmm.
as always, I'm looking forward to it. So all good
Yeah.
stuff.
I need a fucking day off, man.
Yeah. So you're working tomorrow though, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, you okay? Well, actually, speaking of days off, you just got
Mm-hmm.
that was the one thing I forgot to make a note of it. I almost
Right.
forgot. So you were in the beach of
Myrtle
Myrtle.
Beach.
So
Yes.
how was
Myrtle's
your whole
Beach.
Myrtle Myrtleless Beach?
Right.
So, Mike, tell us about your trip.
My trip. Well, it was Chris's birthday yesterday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Um,
Chris.
right. And yeah, all she wanted for her birthday was for all four of her kids to be in the same place at the same time. So we all figured out that one of her sons lives in South Carolina, so that was the easiest way for all of us to get together. So we did. It was very nice. We got a condo, 4-bedroom condo. Yeah, yeah, it was a good time, man. Hanging out with the kids. Got to sit there and watch some of them drink, and uh, it's funny, man. Most of them, they only roared one night. Um,
Roared.
yeah, they did, and it was cool. They had a good time. They were out there playing cards and stuff. I mean, I was hanging out. And actually, that night I went to bed early because whatever, man. I don't need to be hanging out with that shit. That was their time.
Right.
Um, yeah, but it was really good. We spent a day at the beach. We her son Donnie and his husband they actually got a room near there. So we went and hung out at their hotel at the pool and stuff that one day. We went to the wax museum. We did touristy shit. Went to the aquarium one day. That was cool. Yeah, just tourists, man. Guess what? It wasn't about me. It was about Chris hanging out with her kids, and yeah, it was good, man. Family. I'm fucking tired though.
Right. Yeah.
Because it definitely wasn't a lot of laying around. I mean, it was sitting around and stuff, and we ate too much and walked around all over the place and frolicked, and yeah, it was right.
Frolicked.
And then I got back and I went to work today, and I'm going to work tomorrow, and then you motherfuckers are going to be here.
Right.
I
Right.
had to get my lawn mowed today, so my yard didn't look like shit when you people pull up. And yeah, I'm tired.
But yeah, I guess I didn't. Well, I mean, it makes sense. I wasn't really even thinking that, because I know that when I was looking for, because before I went down there, I mean, I mean, for months I looked for different places around Myrtle
hmm
Beach, and again, probably not looking in whatever price range or even looking for the number of whatever it was. I never came across more than like a 1 or 2 bedroom condo like that. But
hmm
it's like, God damn, a 4 bedroom condo, that's nice.
Yeah.
That, and especially because you were in one of the, like, was it a high rise or just how many?
Yeah, we 4 floors. We were on the
Oh,
fourth
was it?
floor.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was just, like I said, the whole family, big ass living room, big ass balcony. Yeah, it was really nice. It was really nice.
That's cool. But yeah, I mean, it's I was looking at all the pictures between you and Chris and even her kids.
hmm
I mean,
Right.
obviously posting all that stuff, and yeah, it did. It looked like fun. I mean, like you and I were talking last week. I would the traveling that I've done none of that. And like I was in
hmm
Myrtle Beach and I saw some of those things, and I'm like, I just, for me, but same deal. If I were with a group of people and they wanted to go, I would love all those things you guys were doing. I think it'd
hmm
be a lot of fucking fun.
Yeah.
But to go by myself, I'm like, yeah, I'll hang outside. It's nice out,
Right.
type of
Right.
thing. But yeah, I mean, if there was, because I was thinking about, and I completely forgot about it until just now. There's the like an air space museum or something down in Houston
hmm
that that I saw. It was like one of the attractions when I was searching before I went down there. I completely fucking forgot about it. I think it would have been fun, to go there, but
hmm
uh, I don't know. I had a nice enough time. The best time I had there. Again, the place that I had, I talked all about it. If that was what it was, but going around and just kind of kicking around and seeing some of the shit. And the weather was fucking beautiful while I was there.
Right.
Just being like you said, kind of touristy. I'm like, I want to just go look at things. Like you
Uh-huh.
guys. That's nice.
Yeah, it was, and I mean, definitely, it was beginning of June, and it was party time down there, man. It was, the whole place smells of weed, and
Yeah.
yeah. But you know what? Again, I can go anywhere and do anything I fucking want today. It was nice. I had a good time. Got to hang out with family, and yeah, I'm tired.
Right. Yeah, it was funny this last time, and I think it was uh, when I got back here after driving back from Branson, and that was probably one of the shorter drives that I had. It was, I don't know, it was 9-10 hours, whatever the deal was. But I mean, I had some, oh shit, when I left your place and went to Tennessee, that was a full fucking 12 hours.
Right.
Which again was fine. It is what it is. I whether I've gotten used to it or not, I don't know, but it wasn't a big deal, or it's not.
hmm
But that I think what it was is just that weekend, that Sunday and Monday, I was all over the fucking place. Then going from being super active and then just kind of sitting around doing nothing, but then sitting in the car. I was tired when I got back, but I was fucking sore. I think just from sitting around, because I think my body got out and just all fucking active and stuff. And then you sit there in a car or literally at a desk for a week and then sit in a car for
hmm
10 fucking hours. I was tired when I got home. It was weird, and I'm like, I didn't do anything today. Except for
Right.
sit on my old fucking ass and drive. But yeah, the thing of it is, I mean, and they talk about it on the radio show that I listen to all the time. They're like, having trying to have fun takes a lot of fucking work and a lot of effort.
It
Yeah,
does.
takes a lot out of you. Takes a lot out of an
hmm
old guy, right?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. I mean, actually, the day we hung out at the pool, we were there for probably 4 hours or something, and then we got back to the condo, and they wanted to go down to the beach. They got a couple boogie boards and stuff, and I was like, you know what? You guys have fun. I'm done for the day, man. I mean, because yeah, 20s, early 30s, whatever, blah 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 blah, and the kids and stuff, and what I'm fucking pushing 60 years old, man. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit here. You guys go have fun,
Right. Yeah, and it really does. It comes down to it with sometimes, I mean, anything like that. It's like I'm okay. I'd rather just fucking sit here.
right?
Just fucking sit here.
Yep.
But well, I'm glad you had a good time. I mean, obviously the pictures look like you guys were having a good time, and I
Hmm.
figured that was going to be the case. I didn't think you were going to get out here and be like, "Oh, that was a fucking mess."
No, it was fun.
No, I know. Okay, so last thing here, because I think this will be an easy enough one. It's from Keep It Simple. So the reading talked about struggles, and I think we've talked about struggling here and there over obviously over many episodes, but
Uh-huh.
what do you think was the biggest struggle or struggles for you in early recovery? And I'm pick a time frame 30, 60, let's say up to 90 days because we were still at the Keating
Hmm.
Center, probably still until we got our feet under us. But what do you think your biggest struggle was when you first got sober?
Um, that's pretty easy, actually. My biggest struggle was not to struggle. Um, yeah, stop fighting, man. Surrender. That is, that just fucking, trusting the process and letting go of all the bullshit and letting go of the way I think things should be and stop fighting the addiction, stop fighting the process, stop fighting everything. That is the hardest thing for me to do was the hardest thing for me to do was surrender and stop fighting, stop struggling, stop it. Um, I, I mean, I don't lead as often as I used to, but every time I lead, I mean, I put that one in there because that was one of the early leads I saw. The guy threw his hands up in the air and said, surrender, and that's just it. So I always say towards the end of my lead, always I say, if because that's how you're getting to the end of the lead, right? If you're new,
Right. Yep.
right. So I always say, if you're new or you're not so new and you're struggling, stop, because you can't win none of it. You cannot win any of it. So stop struggling, trust the process and surrender to this thing, man. Stop fighting the disease, stop fighting yourself, stop fighting everybody around you. You're fucking powerless, man. So stop trying to have power and stop fighting this thing, all of it.
Yeah, in the and same thing. I always say this, but I try not to think too far into these, and then kind of listen to you, and it made me think of I don't know, probably 17 different things. But first of all, I agree with you. That was easily one of my troubles. But the way that I
Mhm.
thought about it, maybe this is the same thing ish. Just getting out of my own way.
Right.
And what I thought about is realizing that you know, once again, what happened at 9 months? That could it be that simple? And that was me not getting out of my own way, not allowing this thing to happen, not
Mhm.
not fully grasping and fucking listening. Because you in the first few episodes we were talking about when we ended up talking about that story, and you said it kind of like over and over and over again. And it was many things that you said that about, but one of the main things was, obviously pray. Well, don't drink,
Mhm.
pray, go to meetings, try to help another alcoholic.
Mhm.
You're not joking. We heard that over and over and over again, and it
Right.
was nauseating.
Mhm.
But I didn't listen. I wasn't trying not to, but I was in my own way because as it turned out, I was trying to figure this thing out.
Mhm.
I was trying to figure out the biggest part of that for anyone who hasn't heard the story. I'll make this one's brief. It's easy. People kept relapsing and I couldn't fucking figure it out.
Right.
Every time somebody went out, I'm like, okay, that was a Tuesday, it was raining, and this happened. But then the next guy was a Thursday, and it was sunny out, and that happened. I'm like, So I'm trying to put together these equations, Then finally,
Mm-hmm.
I go to my friend Mike, and I'm at that point 9 months sober, which is still really young in this thing, but at
Mm.
that time, that's a lot of time,
Right. Oh,
from
absolutely.
zero, up to
Yeah.
9 months. And I'm just like, man, could it be that simple? And that's where the joke comes in, where he says yes and walks away. And that was
Mm-hmm.
my fucking light bulb moment. The reason people relapse is really fucking simple. People stop praying, people stop going to meetings, people stop trying to help stop trying to help other people.
Yeah. They stop
And
working the program.
yeah, and you know what? And if you're listening to this and you're not an AA person, you're like, well, I don't do meetings and I don't pray. It doesn't fucking matter. Mike just
Right.
said it. Stop working a program. Whatever work you're doing to stay sober,
Mm-hmm.
if you stop doing that, you're gonna fucking relapse.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Period. Yeah. You have no choice.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have a choice. The only choice I have is to get up in the morning and do the things that they taught me to do to stay away from the first one. I stopped doing those things. I'm picking up. Period. Thoroughly convinced of that. Thoroughly convinced of that. I stopped doing this shit. I'm picking up. I don't have a choice.
Right. Yeah, and it's scary. It's scary to think about. But the other analogy that I always talk about is walking up and down escalator. It's the same
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yep.
That's your program. You doing the work is walking up. If you stop doing the work, you're going to go back down. That's
Yep.
the idea of going back down into the depths of whatever it was. So same thing. For people who listen to us, and I know there are that are not AA people. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
fucking matter.
Nope.
You don't have to talk about those three things. It's just exactly what Mike said. If you stop doing whatever work you're doing to stay sober, you will relapse. That's
Yep.
going to happen.
Yep.
But yeah, and I think that's what it was. That was the there was the there was so many things. It was a spider web of things that went along with me not getting out of my way. But I think that's the easiest way to put it. Once and still to this day, I think about it. I told the story about when I came down here and we were trying to get mom to move in, and finally we're butting heads. All three of us are, and finally when all of us kind of backed off, then things started to flow in the right direction, and then she fucking died. you know
Right.
so it worked itself out. She fixed the glitch.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself. But no, I mean, literally, it was at that point when we stopped pushing, she calmed down, we calmed down, we all got out of our own ways, and it was going to work itself out. So that's the biggest thing, man. I'm still to this day, I am by far my own worst fucking enemy every goddamn day.
Always. Yeah.
Always. We always are, right?
Yes, we are.
All right, man. So I don't know. I think we did it's good fucking work today. One of these days I'm going to be able to get that out with, actually with a
Mhm.
straight face, but everyone knows it's a fucking lie. This whatever. I don't even know what we fucking talked about. Was it good work? We
Eh,
filled an hour and a
it
half.
was work.
It was, we did the work.
We did.
All
Now it's up
right.
to you to judge if it was any good or not.
Correct. Yeah, you judgmental motherfuckers. But you know what? You paid the price, quote unquote, because you put in the time. So judge away, motherfuckers.
Right.
All right, so you good? We all done?
Uh, I was done an hour and a half ago.
I know. All right, it's your turn, brother.
And we're only a buck 23 into it. Ooh, 24.
Right.
All right. It is my turn. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. As always, be kind to each other, be good to each other. Go out there and do something nice for somebody else this week, and don't tell anybody you did it. And stop fucking struggling. Now it's time. It's time, kids. It's time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
Now stop struggling.
Exactly.
That was funny. That gave me a little chuckle there. I like that one. So. All right, man. So whatever. I mean, it is what it is. Hopefully, y'all are listening to this on a Friday, maybe a Saturday, maybe a Sunday, or whenever it is. But yeah, this
Hmm.
one's coming out or came out early. So, and I don't know. We're going to be in Cleveland. We're going to get all whatever. Oh, we have a guest next week. I confirmed
Ah,
that. So first
cool.
half of the episode, and then maybe second half we could do a recap on Founders Day and all that good stuff.
Hmm.
So as I always say, join us next week.
That's right. And be sure to get consent from that goat.
Yeah, exactly. If the goat's not smiling, back off.
That's right.
All right, man. I love you, brother, and
I
I
love you
will.
too.
I'm gonna see you tomorrow, so
You're going to
that's
see
that.
me tomorrow. That is that.
All right, man. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
And now it is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.